other questions for me before we get started? No? Okay. So just to help me get to know your guys' names first, I'm going to have you guys all make some name tags, okay? So I'm going to pass out colored paper to each of your tables, and you guys can choose what color you want. So you guys need 4, and then we'll get some markers too. 2, 3, 4, 5. You can fold it the hamburger way. Yeah, this is the hamburger way like this. You're going to fold it like that, and I'll give you guys some markers to write. That might be hard for Okay, when you're done, send your name tag out. Hopefully the idea is that for the rest of the time that I'm here, so I'll be here till the end of April, that you guys can bring your name tags back each day, and that I'll have your guys' names learned by the end. You can just leave your markers in the middle of your table. While you guys finish up, I'm going to hand out the worksheet for our activity today. Do you want to get a darker marker maybe? Oh, I was going to say. Okay, if I can have your attention back here, you should be finishing up with your name tags. Attention back here. Okay, so today we're going to be reading chapter 2 of book 9. And this is a really short chapter, so we're going to do an activity while we read the chapter. So I'm going to explain the activity to you guys, and then I'll get you guys divided into groups, and we'll get started on it. So if you're looking at the front of this worksheet, what we're going to be doing today is called Say Something. And so I'm going to divide you guys into groups of 2 or 3 students. And if you look at the chapter for today, it's divided into 3 main sections. So you'll assign each person in your group a main section of the chapter that they're going to be reading aloud. If you have 2 partners, then someone will just read more, or you guys can split up that last section. Now, when you're reading aloud to your group, the idea of this activity is that you're going to stop periodically and say something. And what you're going to say is detailed on the back of your worksheet. So either you're going to be making a prediction, asking a question, making a connection with the text, making a comment, or clarifying something that has happened so far. And I've given you guys sentence starters so you guys know the types of sentences or comments that you guys should be making. So the idea of this activity is that these are things that good readers should be doing in their heads normally when they're reading. And so we're doing this activity so that you're just going to be verbalizing what should already be happening in your head, and it aids, it helps with your comprehension of the book, and it helps you to remember what's happening better. Okay? Now, if you're reading it and you can't do any of these 5 things, then you need to go back and reread the passage, because that means you're not understanding what you're reading. When you don't understand what you're reading, good readers always go back and they read it again. Okay? Are there any questions about what we're going to be doing so far? Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm just going to model it for you guys so you have a better idea of what we're going to be doing. So I want you to open your books to page, I think it's page 21. So we're just going to read the last section of what you guys should have read last night. I'm going to start on the bottom of 21 where it says Saturday, and then read through 22. Okay, so we're just going to pretend like we're all in a group together and it's my turn, and so I'm reading to my group, and I'm going to stop periodically and say something. Okay? So it says, Saturday, the day of rest, was the day chosen for our expulsion. So I might stop right away and ask, what does expulsion mean? Maybe I don't know that vocabulary term. And so you could open it up to your group and ask if anyone else in your group knows what that word means. Does anyone here know what expulsion is? Does anyone want to take a guess? Yeah.
Is it like departure?
Departure. Yeah, Shane, did you do something? Being sent out. Good, so right there, I didn't know the answer, but my group members were able to help me. We were able to define the word. So good, we know that expulsion now means the day that they're going to be leaving or forced to leave together. Okay, so then I would continue reading. The night before, we had sat down to the traditional Friday night meal. We said the customary blessings over the bread and the wine and swallowed the food in silence. We sensed that we were gathered around the familial table for the last time. I spent that night going over memories and ideas and was unable to fall asleep. At dawn, we were in the street, ready to leave. This time, there were no Hungarian police. It had been agreed that the Jewish council would handle everything by itself. Our convoy headed down the main synagogue. The town seemed deserted. But behind the shutters, our friends of yesterday were probably waiting for the moment when they could loot our homes. The synagogue resembled a large railroad station. Baggage in tiers. The altar was shattered, the wall coverings shredded, the walls themselves bare. There were so many of us, we could hardly breathe. The 24 hours we spent there were horrendous. The men were downstairs, the women upstairs. It was Saturday, the Sabbath. And it was as though we were there to attend services. Forbidden to go outside, people relieve themselves in a corner. So I'm going to stop there and make a comment that this is the second time Elie has mentioned that today is the Sabbath. If you remember, he said before that the Sabbath is the day of rest. But then you look at this setting that he's painting here, and it's saying that they're crowded all within the synagogue. They can't even go outside, so people are going to the bathroom in the corners, so there would be a stench. They know that today is the day that they are going to be forced to leave. It's the opposite of a restful day, right? And so there's that irony there. Okay, and then I'm going to finish reading out now. And it says, the next morning we walked toward the station where a convoy of cattle cars was waiting. The Hungarian police made us climb into the cars, 80 persons in each one. They handed us some bread, a few pails of water. They checked the bars on the windows to make sure they would not come loose. The cars were sealed. One person was placed in charge of every car. If someone managed to escape, that person would be shot. And then I'm just going to stop and clarify here that the Jews are being transported in cattle cars, but not only are they being transported in these cattle convoys, but they're also being treated as cattle. The Jews are now starting to be dehumanized. They're being seen as less than humans, and they're being treated as animals. They're given some pails of water. They're like squished in there. They're making sure that they can't escape. So you see just how the Germans are beginning to dehumanize the Jews. And then the section finishes. Two Gestapo officers strolled down the length of the platform. They were all smiles. All things considered, it had gone very smoothly. A prolonged whistle pierced the air. The wheels began to grind. We were on our way. Okay? And so that's what it's going to look like, what you guys are going to be doing in your small groups. So when you make a comment, when you say something, your group members should hopefully respond to it. So there should be some dialogue in your groups. And then after you talk about it, that person can continue to read. Okay. Are there any questions? Yeah, Shane.
Wait, are we reading this out loud?
Yeah, you're reading this out loud to your group in your small groups. Okay? So just like I did, that's what you would be doing for your group members. Yes? No, I'm going to assign your groups now. Is there a question in the back? Zach, do you have a question? Do you have a question? Okay. So I'm going to divide you up now by the colors of your name tag. So let's start with green. If you have a green name tag, raise your hand. Raise it high so I can see it. Okay, so let's go. Cammy and Howie. No, Zach. Cammy and Zach. You two are together. And then Mara and Halima. You two are together. And Najee and Hunter, you two are together, okay? So you guys will be partners. Okay, let's go to blue. Raise your hand if you're blue. Alright, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 5 blues. Oh wait, keep your hand raised. Okay, so let's go you three in the back, our group, and then you two, Zach and Hannah, our group. Okay? Pink. Who is pink? 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. We're going to go you three together, and then you three together. Okay, your pinks. Yellow.
Again.
Okay, we have. Okay, let's go. The two girls can go together, and then the 3 guys. Oh, we have more. Okay, Ben, I didn't see you. Okay, let's just go these yellows right here, and then these 3 yellows over here. Does that make sense? Have I missed a color? Oh, tan. Where are the tans?
Up high, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Okay, you 3 over here. You got your group, and then you 3 over here. Okay, does everyone have their group? Everyone know who their group members are? Okay, you guys can space out now around the room wherever you would like. Try to separate yourselves, and then you can read after. I would bring your worksheet with you so you know what you're commenting on. I'll give you guys about 10 minutes to do this if you want to get started.
Oh, there? Oh,
You guys want to hold yours out? Not all. You guys want to you guys can like make little circles up to you if you guys want to. Just chapter 2. We're just doing this with chapter 2. It's like 4 pages or something. It's not very long.
23 to 28.
Lying down was not an option. Anyone see decided to take the after 2 days of travel, Thursday, This one went on. The majority